Hey friends, this is Joseph Maynor. So happy New Year's Eve 2024. And we're heading into New Year 2025. This is like the self-help holiday, right? This is like self-help Christmas. Those of us who are into self-help, we love New Year. We love it, right? I can feel the energy of New Year. Like a month before it happens, and then like right before, and then post New Year. I wanted to do more to prep for New Year this year with you, but I did it for me. I was selfish, right? I did it for me, but I didn't like share that with you so much. What I want to do in this video is kind of rectify that. And so what I did, I shared this with you in one of my videos, recent videos, where I said, make a list of all of the pending projects that you have that relate to relationships, finances, and health. Those three things. Okay. And I don't expect anybody to watch all of my older videos, so I feel like it's my job to put self-help in new wineskins, so to speak, right? To kind of state it again in a fresh way, and also to practice it this year. That's my goal. So what I want to do in this video is I want to give you guys my 2025 New Year's resolution. And this is going to be a little bit different than what you would expect a New Year's resolution to be, obviously, because I have such a rich background in self-help. And my goal is to make self-help fun, but also not to remove the nuances from it either. Especially with regard to spirituality, because the dream is the dream, no matter what the content is. So this concept that we have of fear, that, oh, I'm going to become shallow, superficial if I embrace action. No, it's just going to be a different movie. It's going to be you doing different things than what you've done before. Right? So those of you who are spiritual and you're worried about like losing your spirituality if you get too much into practical human, God forbid, human self-help, I want to be the guy who will like help you there. You know what I mean? Or a guy, because I had to help myself there too. Like I wasn't this way 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I mean, I'm 47 years old, right? So to the extent that I have something to give, there really is no conflict between spirituality and self-help. And you can do both at the same time, actually. They both actually benefit each other. And there are going to be people who say, well, you don't need to do any work at all to do good spirituality. There you have it, right? That's a perspective too, right? I guess if you're like financially wealthy, or if you live in a cave and all of your needs are taken care of, maybe you could literally just like meditate all day long and you'd be taken care of in that system, and that's your lifestyle. Well, good for you. But like, I happen to be one of those people in the world that has to work to survive. Would I prefer not to have this? Yes. Is there a karmic limitation to this? On some level, yes, but on some level, no, because every perspective has a different sauce or a different flavor depending on what its circumstances are. So there's going to be people in the world who, money is no problem and they still work, or maybe like money is a problem and they don't work, and everywhere in between. So I kind of feel like I'm in a unique situation in that like I was really able to kind of go to the limits of spirituality, but then also I have the opportunity to go to the limits with regard to like human self-help work too, and try to be a positive force in making it more fun. See, I think this is the thing. I talked about this in one of my last videos, is like the reason why people play video games is because it's fun, right? mean, you can spend 3 hours looking for 2 carrots in Minecraft, right? Just like I did. Actually, I spent longer than that because, and anyway, I'm not going to go into video games, but there is something to be said for making self-help more fun. And if we're helping people take care of the basics for individual and collective survival, that's not necessarily a bad thing, right? If you're teaching people how to become more organized, how to have fun exercising and staying away from alcohol and eating a healthier diet, then they know that that's what they want to do anyway, unless they're like 21, right? So I was talking to like 3 guys today. It was kind of cool, actually. They all turned 21 last year, and I just kept thinking back to when I was 21 and what my life was like when I was 21. So I'm 47 now. I just turned 47. So in December. So I like their openness though, and their playfulness, right? They, it's like an 11-year-old playing chess. Like, you wouldn't believe your eyes, about the brilliance of young people. Young people have a brilliance. They can pick things up really fast and learn fast. Older people have the advantage of like history, right? And we become a little bit closed off because of that, I think that's why a lot of people in the 60s were like, you can't trust anybody over 35. I would say probably 45, right? 35, you're still a baby. You're a baby. Talk to me when you turn 40. Talk to me when you turn 45, right? I mean, as life goes on, you learn more and more, and what you dealt with before, it wasn't a bad thing. It was just like an initial capturing of it. And some stuff will stick, some stuff will fall away, but the stuff that sticks, you're like, all right, this thing has stuck with me for this long, like your values, your life purpose. That kind of sticks with you if you really genuinely find your life purpose. And I know there's a lot of people that are against that. Or if you generally develop anything as a strength, right, that will stick with you. That's not your problem. Your problem is what you perceive to be your weaknesses. And so what I want to do in this video is I want to give you guys my New Year's resolution for 2025. And I would say all in all, my number one thing that I want to keep on the front of my mind is that how can I be someone who is a positive agent for self-help, who does it and encourages other people to do it and to make it fun, not in a way to like necessarily in an imbalanced way. Like, I don't want to become like a Tony Robbins or somebody like that. No offense to Tony Robbins, right? That's just not me. He's just not me. I mean, that's the difference. I mean, I like Tony Robbins, actually. When I read Tony Robbins, when I read his first book, Awaken the Giant Within, that was one of the best books that I read when I was like 30, right? Maybe like 31, 32, 33. I read Awaken the Giant Within. And I appreciated the fact that he's like, you can do it, right? But now I realize that the issue of fear really comes down to this idea that we can't have a dream go a certain way, right? Like, we're resistant to a dream changing direction. That's really what fear is. But then you realize too that a dream changing direction doesn't do anything to awareness, right? This is kind of the scary thing. The scary insight is that the dream changing direction doesn't do anything to the awareness of the dream. It's just the dream has a different movie. It's a different movie. Now it's Gladiator 2 instead of Nosferatu, right? I'm actually going to see the new Nosferatu movie tomorrow. I saw the 1922 silent version of Nosferatu is one of like the first horror movies ever made. And it's one of my favorite movies, actually. So, but tomorrow I'm going to see the remake of Nosferatu, so I'm kind of happy about that. But the point is that the witness doesn't really care what the movie is. So your fear of the movie changing is like, you don't want to watch a certain kind of movie. Right? You don't want to watch the movie that would actually be good for you to watch. So the willingness to let the movie change is not going to affect the witness. It's not going to affect the I am. So, you have to allow yourself to get past this kind of barrier between spirituality and self-help. It's like an artificial barrier. It's a limiting belief, really. And allow yourself to focus on action. See, there's a consequence of putting the human in the shadow. Like you threw the baby out with the bathwater. And you got success for that. See, that makes it even worse, is that you got rewarded for doing that, right? Because everybody wants to win without putting in the hard work. And on some level, you already won. There's no winners, there's no losers. Like, it is what it is. But on some level, there are winners and losers. I mean, I just watched the Blitz Championship, the FIDE Championship in chess, where both Magnus and Nepo shared the number one for that. I was like, that's cool. That's cool. You got to watch that. Watch those games. So, what I'm going to do... Okay, and the point of me saying that is that any subject that you can think about in life, like on some level, yeah, there are no boundaries, but on some level there are. So for example, like not everybody is a great artist of any caliber, right? So you have like artists that are good at very finite things, and then everything like abstracted away from that as well. You know, everybody in a sense is a creator. Does popularity always dictate who's the best? Obviously not, right? Everybody loves Coke, but Coke is awful from a health standpoint, right? And ultimately, you are the secret sauce to yourself. Only you. Only you. You have to learn to like trust in yourself. And, at like certain intervals, I mean, you give yourself away. We all give ourselves away, right? We play second fiddle, second seat. You know, we want to ally ourselves with people who have resources that we don't. And none of us are entirely moral either. Although we say that we want to be moral, all of us do immoral things. We scapegoat people who we think that are easy to scapegoat to take the attention off of ourselves. We know this. But at the same time, we have to survive, right? We have to survive. We have to maintain a human level of contentment too, or else we're confused. We're belligerent. We become belligerent, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I mean, it's a bad thing if you want to keep a job, right? If your interest is in other people thinking of you as a stable actor, then belligerence probably is not something that you want to have. So, it is a game. The human is a game. And some people, they take that way too far. I mean, but, in a way, from their perspective, they're not taking that way too far. They have other problems. So you have to look at it from every person's perspective. Like, my problems aren't necessarily other people's problems. So, for example, there are people who they take a lot of action, but they don't think deeply. They don't like thinking deeply, actually. They think thinking deeply means some kind of inefficiency. And then you have people, they can't stop smelling the roses, right? All they do is smell the roses. And they have no rhyme or reason. They kind of like meander through life without their head screwed on tight, right? So I'm just giving you two perspectives. I mean, I'm not even saying that these perspectives are wrong, even. I don't think either of those are the worst that it could be. It could be much worse than that. It could be much worse than that, right? As a perspective. So what I want to do now is give you guys my 12 categories for fulfillment filled out and what you can expect my videos to look like in 2025. So my 12 areas of fulfillment for me personally are relationships, philosophy, web development, trumpet, self-help, law, gaming, life purpose, finances, health, fun, and downtime. I have some theory with regard to coming up with your 12 areas of fulfillment. I have videos on this. I have almost 300 videos now, by the way. But I don't expect anybody to like sit and watch all my videos. What I want to do this year is I want to teach the accountability stuff, the practical self-help stuff, just by walking through it myself and sharing what I'm doing, right? That's what I want to do this year. Because I think from a theory perspective, I have most of it, right? I mean, it's action, right? I mean, practical self-help work is all about action. It's about taking action. So that's not a complicated philosophical question necessarily. If it becomes so, then you may want to reevaluate, because action is action, Did you do it? So, and I'm not saying that living in a fantasy world is bad necessarily either. I mean, all of us on some level live in a fantasy world. But there's something about action that is like showing up in the world or manifesting embodiment, body, right? Doing it. So it's human masculine. But the human generally is feminine, but it's human masculine in the sense it's all about like me rising up and doing something, right? That I know is good. And then from a divine masculine standpoint, you can look at that as another movie. From a divine feminine standpoint, you can look at that as a finite perspective, kind of individuating. So there's no conflict between the human masculine and the divine. I mean, all of us know, like, if we could snap our fingers and accomplish like about 50 things in our life, that we would do it, no question, right? So that's ego. So ego is here too. If you didn't have an ego, you'd be like, I don't care. You know what I mean? Nobody does that. I mean, unless you're unconscious. Like if you're stage beige, I don't know. I'm just saying that, like, or if you're on your deathbed or you're a baby, right? You're a baby that's just like, its whole world is like laying in a crib. Not a crib even, but just like it's laying in its bed and it's sleeping most of the time. And when it's awake, it is, it's sometimes it's content, sometimes it's not content, sometimes there's somewhere in between. So, but it has a limited means, it has like full consciousness, but a limited perspective in a way. where mom and dad are like the two most important influences or interactions in the world for that consciousness. So that's a specific finite perspective. You're a specific finite perspective. But with age comes horrible deteriorations, but also comes wonderful things like wisdom. From age comes wisdom, and compassion. So let me go ahead and read these off to you. So I have 12 areas that I want to work this year in terms of my 2025, New Year's resolution. So one, relationships. I want to limit bad things. So relationships doesn't just mean your relationship with humans. It means your relationship to anything. So unfortunately, like if you're paying attention to one thing, you're not paying attention to something else. So this is where your daily no-nos checklist kind of comes in. I have a private list with regard to what's on my daily checklist. Those of you who are on my APC Discord server kind of know what I'm referring to here. But this is your no-nos, right? So, if you have any kind of problem that's an issue for you, whether it's drugs, food, social media, whatever it is, you're going to have to make a decision as to like how your relation is going to operate on those things in 2025. Okay. Number 2, philosophy. So this year I'm going to be finish reading Spinoza, like all of his primary works and the Cambridge Companions, both for his philosophy in general and for the ethics, which I'm like halfway through. I still have more Shankara to read and more Maharshi to read. I want to read a book I have on Jung, The Portable Jung, right? So it's like a selection of his writings. I want to read that. And then I want to make some videos with regard to philosophy. So I have other things to read too, like some Wikipedia articles that I've printed out and so on. Web development. I have 2 websites, actually. I have one for firstphilosophy.org and one for accountabilitypartners.org. So I want to work on these. I want to build them. So I'm going to be working on HTML and CSS and a little bit of JavaScript to basically have some kind of understanding about how to at least prototype these websites this year. So Trumpet, I want to limit myself to playing through the changes only and learning the tunes that are already in my repertoire. So like if I'm not playing through the changes, I'm not going to play the tune. So I'm like restricting myself in a way to take it up a notch. So I'll practice the heads, right? And I just want to make sure that if I am improvising, that I'm playing through the changes. I want to restrict myself that way so that I can become much better at doing that. Just because, glossing too much in terms of harmony, it doesn't sound good, right? Like I'd rather play something really simple, like a one-tone solo, right? Like the Neil Young solo on Cinnamon Girl, right? It's like one note. It's like the best one-note solo you've ever heard. Yeah, so like sometimes less is more. So self-help. I want to stick with my accountability niche, right? That's my niche. So I want to keep the Accountability Partners community alive in spirit. So I want to make videos on self-help, practical self-help this year. I know it makes you feel stupid, right? Like you're like some kind of physics genius and somebody's telling you all you got to do is take action. You're looking at these people like you got to be out of your fucking mind, right? Yeah, no, but there's a way like once you've like gone really, really hard in that like intellectual direction to swing back into the body thing and appreciate the body thing, whether it's appreciating athletics or chess or video games or practical relationship interactions like being in a party, hosting a party, so on and so forth. Law. Well, I work in the legal profession. I'm a senior litigation paralegal. So I enjoy learning about law. Just not only like the law that's required for my job, but also law in general. But I have like some lessons learned that I need to integrate from my job. And then I also have some CDs, these Sum and Substance CDs. Like, so this one's on intellectual property, for example. But I have like so many of these, right? So I study law. I want to study a little bit of law kind of constantly. Gaming. Okay. Chess and Minecraft. So I'm at the place in chess where I'm somewhat good with the fundamentals, and now I'm kind of like becoming a little bit of an openings nerd, but I'm realizing don't try to learn every opening, right? Just focus on one opening. An opening is like it sets up a particular game. So for example, if you focus, and it depends on your personality, so you want to find like the top two openings that resonate with your first personality for white and the top two openings that resonate with your personality for black. And I would say for me, for the number one opening for white is probably, for me, it's the Smith-Morra Gambit. So I'm kind of studying that one, both from like a white and black perspective. And then from a black perspective, it's the Sicilian Defense, right? So those are my number one for black. So I want to learn those in a deep way this year, both of those openings and defenses. Well, the defenses to those. All right, Minecraft. Minecraft is so funny because Minecraft teaches you to learn to love the process despite the result. Like if you're just chasing to get something, you're gonna get killed and you're gonna rage quit, right? You know, because your ego got bruised. Now you got to realize, like when you're like running and trying to find something, and you see like an exotic parrot or like a new wolf. So they have like different wolves now, different style wolves. To just stop and go smell the roses a little bit, man. Enjoy the process. See, that's part of what makes it fun, because then when you die in Minecraft, because you made some stupid mistake, right? Which I think Minecraft will help you do and kind of cause you to do just to fuck with you, right? But that's life. You're gonna get pushback. But if you're like, all right, you know, that didn't set me back forever, right? I can jump right back in and get all that shit back, and the only thing bruised was my ego there. Right, so I can have fun moving forward. Life purpose. Okay, so for life purpose, I think what I want to do is I want to like watch all of my videos on this channel and review all my writings. Health. I want to do a lot more walking, a lot more listening to audio. Like I have some Audible books that I want to read. I don't want to get too carried away with that, but I do want to do some reading. Like, you know, there are some good self-help books out there. All right. So, and then, you know, keeping my diet under control, getting some exercise. Those are the key things. Fun. Oh man. I want to explore San Francisco more with friends in the peninsula. So, lately, I've been traveling all around the peninsula, like Daly City, South San Francisco, Balboa Park. I mean, I've been Redwood City. I mean, San Jose. I've been like, you know, just traveling all around, and I'm realizing, man, there's so many things outside of San Francisco that are within like a day trip on transportation, like whether it's a bus or a train. or somebody picks you up in a car, whatever it is, there's a lot of fun things to do, right? Downtime. So meditation, I do want to commit to doing an hour of meditation every day. And then also for me, downtime does have a measure of traveling like kind of far away somewhere. Like, I've been to India, I've been to Europe, I've been to China. I mean, man, I've been to Vegas. I mean, I love Vegas, but I would love to like go to Paris, I'd love to go to Oslo or Copenhagen or so many places that I would still love to visit. And this is great downtime, so. Okay, friends, so this is what I'm kind of committed to this year. I'm not saying I'm going to ideally go I may just take one trip somewhere, but this will give you an example about how to make a vision board, but in concepts. Like, not everybody is visual, right? Some people are auditory. So, but you got to have some kind of vision board. You got to have some idea of like where you want to go to set up the journey relation. And then it's about you kind of going on that venture, going on that hero's journey. And that can be fun, even if there's failures along the way. If you go into it with the right kind of mindset, which I think you guys are all capable of, since we've all been doing this work now for a long time. Okay, friends, Happy New Year, 2025. Take care.